All right. We live? We good? Everyone can see me? Well, welcome. Welcome all of you, everyone here to my first ever stream on YouTube. Thank you all for coming. Here on the chat, I'm going to see here, Big Vicious. Here we go. Yes, thank you, Big Vicious. Let me tell you, for all of you who don't know, Big Vicious here has been amazing, just commenting on my stuff. He's just super awesome. Love the guys' support. Hello, Brutal Clippy. What's up? the legend himself. I don't think I would go that far, but thank you. I love your John Petrucci profile picture, Mr. Meaner. Good to see you. So good to see you all here. But yeah, no. Starting the stream. What's up? What's up? Not much, Meaner. Just doing the stream. How about you? So, yeah, thank you all so much for coming. Michael Fisk, my guy. Thank you. So thank you all for coming to the stream. Here we go. I've been listening to the Parasomnia and Presence of Enemies more than the original, brother. Wow, that is, thank you. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. So in this stream, what I want to do is I want to go over my process, essentially, of orchestrating Dream Theater's Parasomnia. Parasomnia, to me, of course, is very special. That was the first album with Portnoy in a while. It's a big deal for a lot of Dream Theater fans. It's really an album, I feel like, about Dream Theater as a concept. I mean, it's about sleep, it's about dreams, sleep disorders, Parasomnia. So it's a very interesting and special album, I feel like, for the band. And of course, they started their Parasomnia tour yesterday, which is very, very exciting. So yeah, I'm just going to go over kind of my process and what I want to do, my choices that I did for the orchestration. Also, I want to thank you all so much. Thank you all. We hit 1,000 subscribers. I hit 1,000 subscribers this week. So I want to thank you all so much for supporting me. I really appreciate all the love and support. I was there. Thank you. I really just appreciate all the love and support all of you have given me. I really did not expect to get this far on the platform, because I'm just one person making these arrangements, making these orchestrations, because I just love this band so much. I really connect with their music, and I've wanted to share it with all of you, share it with this platform, because I know there's so many Dream Theater fans who like to hear different interpretations. They love the band, and they want to hear what other people give to it. And so I really wanted to sort of bring my own voice, bring my sort of vibe, my orchestral background to Dream Theater, which I feel like is a band that lends itself very well to an orchestral style. So I'm really, really happy that you all enjoyed it, and you got me to a point that I never thought, I thought it would take longer. I seriously thought it would take longer to reach 1,000 subscribers, but you guys made it happen. So thank you all again. Michael Fisk says, I see a cello case in the back. Yes, this is my cello. That's my cello right there. Yeah. Yeah. So glad you caught that. So before we begin this stuff, before we begin the analysis, I want to bring up a few things for all of you. One thing I want to bring up is with the orchestrations in the future. For me, doing these orchestrations, it takes a lot of time to get this stuff done. And so for me, I really want to keep them consistent, but I want to keep them consistent, but I know these things do take time. So I hope that I can put stuff out for you guys, on a consistent basis, but things will take time. I'm only one here. I have a lot of other stuff going on. There's also several other projects I want to work on musically. So sorry if there won't be uploads. Maybe in the future. I don't know what I'm going to do. I know I am currently working on a change of seasons at the moment. But I do hope that I can get stuff out for you. I know there's a lot of songs, a lot of stuff that you guys have been asking me to do. And I definitely do want to get to all those requests because I know you guys are really, really want to hear my take on these songs. But I hope that I can get more stuff out for you so you guys can enjoy my music because you all, because I don't want to rush it because I want to say you guys deserve the best from me. You guys deserve the best from me because you guys just seem to love this stuff and I do not want to let you all down. So, let's see here. How much time did a track like Shadowman or Presence take? Shadowman took me a bit longer. It took me about 2 or 3 weeks to complete. It could have taken me sooner, but some stuff with life got in the way. So it would have taken me a bit sooner to get done. Presence of Enemies took me a while because of just that was when I really started doing this stuff. So that took me a bit longer, but these things don't really take me that long. Sometimes these take me about a week to finish. So hopefully I can get Change of Seasons done, or maybe do another song. I have a few others that I'm also begun to work on. Thank you, Michael, for sure. Take your time, dude. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So yeah. So are we all ready to begin? Are you guys ready for the deep dive? I really cannot wait to share this stuff with you. So I'd say we get into it. What do you guys think? Let me just pull up the video here. I'm just gonna be pulling up the actual video. I can do that. Oh. Bear with me here. I am new to this whole streaming thing. So I'm sorry that I catch up stuff. So in orchestrations like these, time is the most important to be as perfect as your previous ones. Yes, take it. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. So yes, thank you so much. 100% agree. Thank you, Big Vicious. Thank you so much. That means a lot, guys. I'm so glad you guys want me to really take my time here. No, I think the biggest thing with me, for me anyway, is just the YouTube algorithm, because staying relevant on the platform is kind of hard when you're not always constantly uploading stuff. So it's a big deal for me as someone who's really looking at this kind of stuff. It's just hard to really sort of keeping that stuff. And also, thank you guys so much. Big Vicious, I know I want to give you a shout out. Thank you so much for always commenting and bringing stuff up to keep my stuff, relevant. I really, really appreciate that. It's super cool. Okay, Frank16 asks, what is your background in music? So my background, typically, my background is mainly classical oriented. I mainly grew up listening to classical music. I grew up listening to a lot of film scores and video game soundtracks. My pleasure. Love to keep the algorithm strong on your channel. Thanks, Big Vicious. So for me, my background is, like I said, mainly in the classical world. Classical music has always been a big deal for me. Studying piano, studying cello, playing. I played in my local youth orchestra for like 3 years until I graduated high school. So it was really fun getting to learn that realm of music. Just the whole history of Western classical music is just so dense. There's just so much to discover from all the composers in our past and composers now who are doing both concert music and, of course, the great film composers of our time. I think learning so much about that was definitely helpful for me in orchestration. And that's, I think, why I appreciate Dream Theater so much, is because they have that that style that they sort of take from those film composers and classical music and great jazz and rock musicians of the present and of the past. And I think that's why I love their music so much, is because I can really resonate with them in that way. So that's kind of like my background in music. That's how I really started out, and that's what I bring to my orchestration here. So all right, I got the audio set up. I was able to put it up here. So I just have the audio set up, not really the video. I have the file here. I have the full Symphonic Parasomnia here, and we're going to get into it. So obviously, starting off with this, I started with the Shadow Man incident. That was the first thing that I did. Shadow Man, I knew I wanted to do that one because it was the big epic. It's my favorite track off the album. It became one of my favorite Dream Theater songs, period, because of its vibe. Thanks for answering. No problem, Frank16. I'm really glad you asked. That was a really great question. So with Shadow Man, that was the first one I did, and I got a few comments as well. There were some people in the comment section who asked me to do the full album, and I wasn't really planning on doing it, but the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I think it would be fun to do the whole album because I love it so much. I know it's really resonating a lot with fans. Fans really seem to enjoy it. So I thought it'd be really cool to give my take on Parasomnia, which is an album I really like and a lot of fans love. And I think that with how new it is, I think it will be very cool to hear a different take on it. So that's kind of why I did it. And to all those who asked for the album, the full thing orchestrated, I want to thank you all for giving me such a great idea, because it's just super cool. I remember seeing the Bend the Clock notification pop up and open to YouTube right away. And I'm really excited for the rest and be sure the fans will support such masterful works. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really hope so. I'm glad you think that way. Yeah, just thank you so much, man. Also, Top Josh, hello, Luke. How are you today? Thank you so much. It's good to see you. I'm doing great. How about yourself? It's good to hear from you again. It's been a while. So, all right, let's get into it. So after Shadow Man, I'm going to do, of course, Shadow Man last and do it in sequential order. Hello, Evan Francis. Could you please do a view from the top of the world as well? I think it would be interesting to hear what it sounds like. Yes. Thank you so much for the suggestion. That's one that I really want to do. I love a view from the top of the world. I think it's an epic song. It's the last song that the band did with Mike Mangini. And it's such a good way for him to go out on because it's just so epic and grand, and it has that cinematic quality to it. It really feels motivational. Like, it really feels like you want to achieve, you want to achieve the impossible. It motivates. It's like it makes you want to climb Everest. That's the type of feeling I get when I listen to that song. So yeah, I'd love to do a view from the top of the world. That's a great one. Yes, I know. I really want to do all the epics. I think all the epics are amazing. I think when they write an epic song, they really showcase the best of their abilities as songwriters, as musicians. It's where they can just go crazy with all of their ideas. I love when they make epics. I really want to hear Octavarium, especially the outro solo. Yes, of course. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Octavarium is my favorite Dream Theater song. It's such an incredible piece of music, not just a song. It is a work of art. It is an incredible achievement, I think, in songwriting for me. And I'm not saying this, I'm not saying this to boost them up. I genuinely think that it is a masterpiece of a song, and I would love to bring my own vision and my own take on it because it's just incredible. It's an incredible work. Michael Fisk says, it was great to hear you live. Oh, that must have been awesome. That must have been awesome to hear that live. One thing I do want to bring up was about Dream Theater Live. So I personally, this might sound shocking. I personally have not seen Dream Theater Live, but soon that is about to change. I will be seeing them next month on the Parasomnia tour, and I'm so excited to hear I'm so excited to hear the album. I'm excited to hear A Change of Seasons, and I'm saying spoiler free for the second set. I want to be surprised. I really want to be surprised with what they play because it's going to be so exciting to just hear it fresh for the first time. So I'm super excited to see them live. You have no idea how great it is for me. Might as well, dude. I think I have 650 streams on Spotify. The best song ever made in my life is completed that I saw it live last year. It must have been awesome for all those who went on the 40th anniversary tour. It must have been great. Oh, brother, you're in for a treat. I know. All the Dream Theater fans that I've talked to have said that I'm in for quite an incredible experience. There's nothing like it. So I'm very excited to do it. All right. So let's get into the stream. Let's get into this. So obviously, In the Arms of Morpheus was the first one. Let me answer this question from Top Josh. If you ever do the whole album of symphonic cover of Dream Theater's Octavarium album, you should do a review or discussion about it. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea, Josh. I'm glad you brought that up. I'd love to do discussions about these albums, maybe after I do it, or even like maybe before I do. I would always love to do like reviews and thoughts on songs. But yeah, I'd love to do that. That would definitely be a great idea. I definitely want to do more of these deep dives and analyses in the future because I love sharing my inspiration and my process. I think it'd be really cool to sort of go through what I sort of envisioned for these arrangements, my sort of process and how I did it, what I thought was complicated sometimes, what I thought was a bit difficult, but I got through. I think it would be really cool to just do that stuff because as just one guy doing this, it is interesting going through, doing all this stuff. Frank16 says, my favorite song is A Nightmare to Remember. I love that song too. That song is amazing. Everyone in the chat, I'd love to hear all your guys' favorite Dream Theater songs. Let me know in the chat. I'd love to hear the variety. I think it'd be really cool. So let's get into In the Arms of Morpheus here. This is where we begin. And this was really fun to orchestrate because of its very ominous opening here. Let's see if you can all hear it. So, of course, I kept it pretty simple, pretty straight to the album. Of course, I didn't add the ambient sound effects that were in the actual album, but I, of course, kept it, pretty much like the album. You have piano and guitar, piano and harp, actually, playing that. And then the top piano line playing the main theme of you all. This is what I call the Parasomnia theme. And it appears in several tracks, particularly the chorus of A Broken Man. It appears in Dead Asleep. It appears in at the very end of the album, the Shadow Man Incident. It's this really cool recurring theme. I really like it. Big Vicious says, I can't pick a favorite DT song. Haha, so many great elements in so many songs. That is very good. Sometimes it is very hard to pick a favorite Dream Theater song. It changes a lot. There's so many great ones. I'd also love to hear you guys' favorite album, Dream Theater album. For me, it's 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, although Scenes from Memory is also very close up there. Definitely those three. I also love Images and Words, Octavarium. So many great albums. I really love their stuff. Even the ones that I feel like people kind of not really, some of them are kind of overlooked. But I think I really enjoy them. Like I love the self-titled. I really liked Falling Into Infinity. I'm also a big defender of The Astonishing. I think that one's also really cool, very ambitious and very bold with its orchestral, theatrical style. And I also really like When Dreaming Day and Night too. It's a very cool. It's a very good opening for the band. It shows just how much these guys were yearning to make music, and it's a really nice album. I love that sort of raw quality to it that I really enjoy. Plus, I also really like Charlie Dominici as well. He's a very great singer, and I know he didn't, get to sing with a band after that album, but I really like Dominici on that album. Rest in peace to Charlie Dominici, by the way. You get to see a lot of really good picks. Stream of Consciousness, that's a great one. I love Stream of Consciousness. Oh, Tedicus here. Hey, bro, sitting backstage at a high school. Thought I'd drop in for a moment. Good to see you, man. Really good to see you. My favorite Dream Theater albums so far, Train of Thought and Octavarium. Very good choices. Very good choices. I love both of them. I love how different they are from each other. Train of Thought is very heavy. Octavarium is very melodic. It has incredible sense of melody and variety. Between Distance Over Time, A View, and A Dramatic Turn of Events, and plenty of others, there's so many good choices. I also know you picked a lot of Mangini era albums, which, yeah, Distance Over Time is a good one too. I really like that one. Stream of Consciousness is crazy. Saw them play it live months ago and was blown away. Oh man, that would have been amazing. That would have been so cool. I love Stream of Consciousness. That's my favorite instrumental from them, by the way. Mine is Metropolis. Great pick. And Now You Said It, 6 Degrees will be amazing, orchestrated by you, especially the 42-minute epic. Yeah, the 42-minute epic is insane. It's such an incredible piece of music. My favorite album has to be Black Clouds. I think that's what we're talking about. Yeah, so we're talking about favorite albums. Black Clouds is a really, really good one. I think it's very underrated. That and Systematic Chaos. I think they're very underrated albums, and I really love them. I just love every Dream Theater album because they're so different. They're also like different from each other. They have a unique style and a feel to them that it's hard to really say which one like you like more than others. So another one I really like is Awake. I haven't seen anyone bring Awake up yet, but I also love Awake too. Good follow-up to Images and Words. Get some water. All right, so let's get back into the sort of orchestration here. Every album is amazing in its own way, and I can't think of any other band this way. Yeah, agreed. I definitely agree with you on that. So here, I decided to sort of do the build-up, the progressive build-up with the guitars coming in, sort of adding in that you're falling into the dream. If you can all hear it, make sure if you can all hear this, by the way. If it's too loud, I'm going to turn it down. It's going to get pretty loud here in a second. Of course. So here is where, obviously, this is the big part of where it just hits you, the crushing 8-string riffs, just smack you right in the face, these huge chords, and I wanted to convey that through the orchestra, these huge brass and percussion hits right there. I also used the triangle as well to sort of mimic the alarm clock as well, which I thought was a really, really cool touch. One thing I also really love is I have a little keyboard here as well. I know there's a keyboard back there, but I have a keyboard as well, so I can just play notes as well. Sort of give you a bit of like reference. So for me, one thing that I thought was really cool when I heard the album is you have this sort of motif that shows up in the beginning here. Oh man, I can't hear the orchestration in the background. Oh shoot. Ooh. Okay. Let me try this again. Sorry, like I said, this is my first ever time doing a stream. So I'm very, very sorry. You're going to have to bear with me here. I really wish I could have planned this out sooner, but I had a lot of stuff going on. So for me, I'm going to see if we can try and get this set. So please bear with me here. I'm sorry about all the difficulties. Like I said, I'm new. I'm super inexperienced to all this stuff. So please bear with me. This might seem embarrassing, but sorry. I'll get that fixed. See if I can do that. Goro Romero says, you did an amazing job. Hi from Chile. Good to see you. It's okay, brother. Don't worry. Just trying to help. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Well, I get this fixed. I just want to know from all of you. I've always wanted to know this. Do you have any like Dream Theater like most like underrated songs? Maybe like hot takes or something like that. Any songs you find to be underappreciated, like fans don't really bring up as much? Okay, Tedicus asking the real questions. Dude, is that a Star Wars mural on your wall? Why, yes, it is. Why, yes, it is, Tedicus. As you can see here, I have a huge Star Wars mural up on my wall behind me. You can see just so many different characters through here. This was before the Disney buyout, so there's no like Mando or Andor characters in there. This is mainly from the first 6 movies. A man of Michael Fisk says, a man of culture. Yes, I am a huge Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars so much. It's one of my favorite things ever. Prophets of War, I just really like the chorus, and I've seen a lot of hate about the song. That's a good pick. I really like that song too. I love the chants in the middle. I like the fact that it actually got fans to do the chants, like the time for change, like those chants in like the middle of the song. So I thought that was really, really cool. Frank 16. We see Anakin in the bottom right. Anakin's right there. Vader's behind him. Super cool. Go Romero. Hell's Kitchen is amazing. Yes, great instrumental. Great lead into Lines in the Sand. That is a great song. I really like that one. But yeah, I definitely really agree with you on those picks. Those are really, really good songs. I might have to do like a Dream Theater like tier list or something at some point. That would be pretty fun. Because I see so many of those tier list videos on the platform on YouTube and stuff. And I think that'll be really, really cool to do. As someone has thoughts and has feelings on Dream Theater, I think it'd be cool to share my sort of opinions on with all of you. That'd be pretty cool. So I'm just gonna see if I can get this thing set up here. Okay, let me try it again because I don't know why for some odd reason it wouldn't play the music. Let me just see if I can get it set up. While I get it set up, just I'll see if we can answer questions about like ask anything about orchestration, ask me about my musical background, influences, like ask me about any of that. My favorite thing I want to do is just communicate with you guys because I love your questions. I love your thoughts on things. Please just let me know because I love to hear your thoughts on all this stuff. So while I get the setup, I'd love to talk with you guys. So let me just see here. A lot of Mangini stuff is underrated, especially Distance Over Time. Pale Blue Dot is so crazy if you see the transcription. Yes, that song, I'm going to say it right now, that might be, if I ever orchestrate it, that might be one of the most difficult ones because it's bonkers. That song is bonkers. Like, just, like, for me, that song is just wicked crazy because of just the directions it goes, the middle section especially. Just the stuff that Mangini plays on it is just almost inhuman. So that's definitely going to be a challenging one as well. I am really interested in the software you use. Is it free? Because I want to record my songs with my guitar and I don't know at all how to do it. Good question there. So I use a notation software called MuseScore, and which is free. MuseScore is a really good free studio to write scores, actual scores. And yeah, that's just what I use for orchestration. That's what I use for all these things. So I use MuseScore for all of the stuff that I use. I use a variety of different sample libraries as well, alongside the default free Muse Sounds libraries. Pale Blue Dot is for sure underrated. Illumination Theory is one that I love too, but I don't hear anyone talking about it. Yeah, Illumination Theory is a great one. Definitely a great epic. I love the doing the string section is going to be interesting because the string section is already perfect on the album. So how can I improve perfection? So Arth says, bro, I'm from Brazil and I listened to your arrangement. It was just amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. All of you supporting around the world is, yeah, that's just incredible. Pale Blue Dot is so epic. I agree. Outcry would be just as bonkers if you see Mangini's masterclass on how he uses 3 bass drum to complement the rest of the band. Oh my goodness, that song is ridiculous. Outcry is amazing, but it is just it's just wild. It is just wild how that song is just insane. What Mangini does, if you ever watched the drum cam that Mangini released like a few months ago, that is just, it's just remarkable to see what he can do. Such an incredible drummer. Enemy Inside is a great song. I agree with you. I was really happy to see it on the performances that they did over in Europe. Seeing some of that footage was really cool. So getting to see that. Getting to see Portnoy's take on it was also really cool with the live footage that I got to see. Bigger Picture is one of my favorites and definitely overlooked. Yes, I agree with you. That is a great song. I love the Bigger Picture. So like melodic and motivational. I really love that song. That is a great one. So yeah. That is neat. You should do for Octavarium. Yes, Octavarium's a big one for me. That is a song that I really, really want to do. That is definitely a song that I really, really want to do. So, yeah, for sure. For sure, definitely. Okay. I think I got it. Can you all hear this now? Just want to see if you can all hear the audio. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you so much. Whew. That really helped me a lot. Glad you guys could help me out with that. Glad you guys we can talk to me over that. So I just want to say that my father showed me Dream Theater like 7 years ago, and now I show my father you, and he loved the covers. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for that. It's so cool you're sharing it with your father. That is so cool. It's a cool thing for me because I get to show my because I discovered Dream Theater on my own, and I got to share it with my family, and they're not really big. Not to diss them, but they're not really big into metal. They like rock. I know, like my parents are both huge fans of Rush. That's how I got into Rush. Jenica says, "Happy wife, happy life." Yeah. So getting into Dream Theater, they got into it through my orchestrations, and they can really appreciate how intricate and complex their music is. So yeah, it's super cool. It's cool that I got to share it with people. It's awesome. I wanted to be here for this, but I'm being dragged to dinner by the missus. I'll catch you later on the replay. Excellent work. Well, have a good night out. Good to see you. Hope you can check the replay. I saw Dream Theater first time in 1993. I'm like, wow, man, that's awesome. So you got to see them. You got to see them with Kevin Moore. That's awesome, man. That must have been so cool getting to see him like right after Images and Words. Like that would have been amazing being at that time. So now with audio, we can get into the orchestration. Hey, I was born in 93. Nice. So we can get into the orchestration now. So that intro, like I said, I really wanted to hit by, I want to sort of convey the sort of like darkness behind the intro to the album. It's got this dark, huge buildup leading into those crushing 8-string riffs, those shock horror chords. One of the things I really appreciate about it is I have I have a little keyboard here. So I noticed about the little riff that begins that when it begins like that, it's using the notes of a scale known as the whole tone scale, which is used a lot in music, in film music, to convey dreams, to convey sleep, like flashbacks, like that sort of otherworldly, dreamy quality. So like. So I thought was a really, really cool writing technique. I picked that up immediately. It's like that's the whole tone scale. So that was really, really cool. They did that. They did that, and the chords stacked on top of each other. Really. I thought it was very, very interesting. I wish I was alive to see them during this time, but probably I wasn't even an idea. It's all good. We all have our time. We all have our times to come into the world. So then the riff kicks in here. First time I heard this riff, I thought this reminds me a lot of Bridges in the Sky, which are imaginary events. That's what that chord is. Never noticed it was a whole tone scale. Yep, that's what I hear anyway. I could be off on it. It's hard to hear with all the layers, but that's just what my ear picked up on. So glad I could bring it up for you. So with that riff, obviously it's just a low, it's just that low guitar, and bass, and keys playing that. I decided to add a bit more, having the entire string section just belt out that riff, super, super loud, fortissimo. Of course, we have the brass coming in with this motif that we hear it in the Shadowman incident later on. We transition into this is where Jordan Rudess' keyboard solo would be. Have strings and brass, strings and horns playing this part. Yep, the riff. There's the riff. These chords. One of the things I noticed, these chords, this. That chord progression you hear in the keyboard solo comes back in the Shadowman incident. It's with a. So it comes back in that, which I thought was a really, really cool way to tie in both songs. But yeah, you do hear the riff though. Yeah, it's super cool. I love the way they write. Yeah, super dreamy. I feel like it, because if you break it down, it's like A major, F major, B major, G, F sharp, C, B, and then to F. Yeah, super dreamy chord progression, which I think is really cool. The way they use chords in these songs, particularly in Shadowman, is incredible. I love that kind of stuff. So, back into here. I added like a little like woodwind flourishes every time you do this with woodwinds, like the sonos and stuff like that. I do that a lot throughout. And then we got the epic guitar solo, Shadowman incident melody. Have the strings and winds playing that. Sort of going for like a very cinematic John Williams type of vibe here. John Williams is probably my greatest, probably the greatest musical influence for me. Because, I grew up with Star Wars. I grew up with Indiana Jones. I grew up watching Harry Potter. So, yeah, this melody gives me the chills. It does, too. First time I heard that, I'm like, that's got to be a melody that comes in later. Because they can't just use that for that one song. It's got to be something that comes in and... Got head out, broski. Have a great stream. Good to see you, Tadicus. Good to see you again. Hopefully we can hang out sometime again. It's good to see you. So yeah, I love that melody so much. I want to give it its sort of epic, an epic vibe when it comes through in Morpheus. And the transition into Bend the Clock is when it comes in. Have the cellos playing the melody. As a cellist, I love writing for cello. Of course, I'm biased. Rest of the strings carry that. Winds as well. So we transition into Night Terror, which is really cool. So yeah, Morpheus I thought was very, very fun to orchestrate because it's just so heavy and dark, but it also incorporates those themes and motifs that you hear on the in later songs. So I thought it was really, really fun to do that ominous, sinister vibe. It's got this huge cinematic quality, but that's what I love about the album. It's incredibly cinematic, and that's what Mike Portnoy described it as a very cinematic album, like you're watching a movie. Something I really like about your orchestrations is that I could enjoy the album while studying. That's awesome. I listen to a lot of this kind of music when I'm either studying or working. It really helps me concentrate. So I'm glad my arrangements can help you out too. Jordan Rudess is so talented. I agree with you on that, Frank. He is an incredibly talented musician, and he's just a wonderful composer as well. I mean, such an incredible writer and songwriter. He's just wonderful. Also really cool tech as well. Comes with a lot of incredible stuff, like GeoShred. So you have a Night Terror, obviously with the beginning, that sort of eerie fade in. And I did keep the fills. The drum fills are too iconic to leave off, so I just have like the concert toms play those fills. So, of course, because everyone loves the iconic Portnoy drum fills. So, yeah. I remembered the intro of Night Terror in Instagram post before releasing the single, and I got chills. Yeah, it was cool to see in the build up because there was those videos of the band members and they look like they're sleeping, and then they open their eyes, and so they added like little bits of the lyrics like vanishing at sunrise, drifting to sleep, transition, swimming through waves, like nocturnal trial by fire. It was just we were just waiting on when is the song going to come out, what's going to happen, where is it, where's the stuff, and just when the song came out, it was just awesome. So cool to finally hear them back with Portnoy. Such a great song. But yeah. Have the strings, the high strings play that keyboard melody. This is where you all start to headbang. This is where I kind of get like the As I Am sort of vibe here. Really reminds me of As I Am from Train of Thought. And then, of course, there was a part of me that was wondering, do I have to include the fill? And a part of me was, and then was that realization, you have to keep the drum fill in. It's the drum fill. Like, it's the iconic Portnoy fill. So I had to include it. And so what I did is a combination of both the timpani and the toms. The timpani is doing just the basic. and the toms are doing like the more intricate, doing like the the bleed, the herta, if you will, the herta beat, doing that kind of stuff. So it sounds like it's sort of one homogeneous sound, which I think it turned out really cool. Of course, the strings and piano play the riff. The strings are somewhat subdivided because this Antonio Silva, you created a real masterpiece. Continue the good work. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So for the riff, the main riff is pretty tricky for string players, and as a cellist, I can definitely attest to this as well. Because with the riff and the way it is, guitars, very different instruments. So with a cello and with different string instruments, you have to do a lot of string crossings. So what I do is I just subdivided the strings so one plays some of the higher notes and they sort of do the pedal tones of low E. So it's they're sort of doing like the so like some parts are playing, which doesn't really sound like much, but then when you add it with the low notes, you have sort of one unison type of sound. So it's like one part playing all this stuff. So that's kind of like my sort of take on stuff like that. That's kind of my process and what I do with all those string parts. And of course, this riff right here, it's already giving the momentum going, so it adds some like extra little tom fills. Like does so you can really hear. It keeps the momentum and the drive going throughout the song right before the vocals would kick in right here. Of horns and trombones playing that. Strings obviously playing what Rudis plays, sort of the pads. Back to the riff. So I do that trick a lot, and going into another section, I do sort of like these. I paused that before. I do like the keyboard, like your woodwind, like flourishes, like these sort of like glissandos or arpeggios, these sort of stuff like that sort of get into the next section. I add a lot of harp glissandos as well. It's so cool. Ooh, this is a good comment. Something to have to say is that I used many times the videos as backing tracks to play some solos and riffs, and it all sounds so amazing. That is awesome. Dude, that is so cool. I love that you're using that for backing tracks. That is awesome. Yeah, it's super cool. Glad you could use that. Just have the low strings playing the riff. Then back into the intro riff, which I do like they bring back. Woodwinds play that keyboard melody. I do that a lot with the woodwinds, play a lot of the solos. Into the chorus. Strings and horns. Trombones get the backing. Toms add sort of like that. Keep the momentum going, which I really like. Back into that riff. Super cool riff. Of course, metric modulation is 12/8, which I think is really, really cool. This section was really fun to do. That riff is such a fun riff. The way they sort of go from 4/4 into 12/8, I think is super cool. Then we add the trumpets to add in that extra brassy sound. You have woodwinds, piano, and marimba doing those little keyboard hits, in perfect fourths, like parallel fourths, which is super cool. Back to the riff. Have the bells come in there like on the album. Of course, change key from E minor chorus to an A minor chorus. Have the horns play this one. Then we get into the insanity. A lot of 7/8 used here. So, yeah. Right here, muted trumpets, woodwinds, and marimba are playing this part, and piano. You have one thing I also use to add little bits of color and texture throughout these little solo sections is I use to really sort of mimic Portnoy's cymbal patterns. Because this is one thing I really love, because if you're just doing a basic drum beat, it might not be the most engaging thing in the world, but Portnoy does these little simple accents, stuff like that, where it really keeps. He does a lot of stuff with like the hi-hat, with the stacks, with like the little bells. He does it a lot here, and I tried to mimic that by using the toms. Just play the rims, just playing on the rims. So as you hear little clicks and clacks everywhere. That sort of mimics the little fun cymbal play that Portnoy does on these solos. Does any member of Dream Theater know you're doing tribute to them? So far, I have not seen anything. I have not gotten any acknowledgement from them, but I really hope so. That would be a dream, no pun intended, a dream come true for me, being acknowledged by Dream Theater for these arrangements. I think that would be just super, super cool. I think it's, oh man, that would just be incredible, getting just the recognition from Dream Theater. So yeah, but it hasn't happened yet, but I hope so. And I hope I don't wake up and like, am I dreaming? Are we dreaming? I hope they will. Thank you so much. I hope so too. I really hope so. So, I'm sure it's only a matter of time until Jordan comments on something at least. Only a matter of time, you say. Unintentional reference, maybe, but cool to see that. But yeah, when it happens, I'm just gonna be, I'm gonna be over the moon. I'm gonna be over the glass moon. Okay, not under a glass moon, but over the glass moon. It will happen. Oh man, like I said, the day that happens. Or Mike, yeah, I'm waiting for Portnoy to. I know he sees a lot of this kind of stuff, so I'm waiting for him to show up and see this or something. Like that would be incredible. Yeah, thank you for enjoying my my Dream Theater puns and references. I can go on, to quote Captain America. I can do this all day with all these puns. Like seriously, you can't stop me. Like it's like I can go on and on. On and on and on and on it goes with all of these Dream Theater puns. So glad I'm not misunderstood. So we have this part, the keyboard doing these sort of chords. I have the brass doing that. Or oh man, it's Korn. Yeah, I'm not gonna do the thing, the meme. I know what you're talking about, but Mattel, this is a Dream Theater talk. I know you like corn, but yeah. It's obviously joking, man. I know you make those types of memes. Good to see you though, man. So of course this is the dual keyboard and guitar. I have the winds playing that. It's got a strings backing. Just really tried to simplify the arrangement here. It's not as dense as the last one was. Sort of the build up into the next section, the big crescendo. I have the woodwinds just playing the first beat notes, and the piano doing just the bulk work of it to really keep that unison like type of sound. There was a part of me that was also like, I would do that little and then add a little ding, like a classic Portnoy bell ding. But I thought that's not the original song. I didn't include it, even though I kind of wanted to just ding ba 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 do that. Then we get into this riff. This is one of my favorite riffs in the song. It's a very Rush, really Alex Lifeson style riff. I think it's really cool. Starting out with viola here for the guitar solo. Yeah. Then the violin. I really love the sound in the solo because it makes it sound like something out of Egypt, and I love that. Yeah, it's a lot of the modes that they're using. They're using a lot of Phrygian and a lot of harmonic minor as well. Also a lot of augmented. Of course, diminished stuff. I don't know if there's any diminished stuff though. But a lot of augmented, a lot of Phrygian, a lot of harmonic minor stuff to give it that sort of exotic, if you will, quality. It's what they use in songs like Home and Lost Not Forgotten to create that type of sound, which I think is really cool. Yeah. Glad you think that. Then we have the more melodic part of the guitar solo, which every Dream Theater album I feel like now has to have this epic Petrucci playing out this melody moment. Every album now I feel like it has to have this. Then back into the third chorus. This time with the trumpets being added to the mix here. And then the final chorus here in E minor, just this huge wall of sound. I love the sample. Sorry to pause. I love the sample that I used on the trumpet here. I used Audio Imperia Nucleus, the brass sound. That trumpet sound, that sort of like a little reach it does, the da da da, like sort of like not really that little reach that it does. Night Terror, Hysteria, Nocturnal Trial by Fire. Honestly, I love how, I think one of the most underrated aspect of Dream Theater for me is James Labrie. I just love the way he sort of sings certain lines. There's a way that he sings it that, like, I've never heard any other singer deliver like words that way. And I think that's what makes him so unique. And I feel like that's what makes him really fit with the band. He has a certain style and a way that he sings, like with his voice, that I've heard no other singer I've ever heard do stuff like that. I really, really do like his voice. So, yeah. But I love that little trumpet part right here, the little reach. So cool though that library was able to do that. So cool. Labrie is amazing and really overhated. I agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you. I hear from people he's sounding like really good on these new shows. So, yeah, Night Terror, that was a lot of fun to orchestrate because it's just that first single. It got everyone hyped for what Parasomnia could be. But that one was really, really fun to do. I think it was just so cool. It was so cool getting to do that one. But yeah, I do agree with you about Labrie being overhated. And like I said, I feel like he's been sounding really good on this last tour. He is really good. Saw them 2 times last year, and I love how he sounded. Yeah, I think he brought up in an interview recently that he'd been training, doing some more vocal training with a vocal coach recently. So I think that's the reason why he's able to sound much better than he did in the last few tours. I think it's really, really helping with his voice. So good to hear that he's doing better and he feels more comfortable with his voice at the moment. I think sounds awesome from the stuff that I've heard, and I know he's going to sound amazing when I eventually go see them. But yeah, really good for him. Yeah, so Broken Man. A Broken Man is next. This one was also really cool to orchestrate because of how just heavy it is. Just immediately begin, just get it's the ultimate stank face. That whole build-up was so cool to do. Going to this section, have the toms really drive everything. The timpani and the toms drive this whole section. This is, of course, where the vocal, like the samples would be of like all of like the war combat. I've always really loved these chords they use in here. I love the switch between major and minor. It sort of adds this little hint of like optimism to it, but still keeping it a bit dark. Especially here. A huge open C major chord. Then into that riff. At first, I didn't like Broken Man when it released, but after months, it's changed, and I love it. Yeah, for me, I actually really liked it when I first heard it. And it was weird because seeing not really the backlash. I mean, I feel like most of the backlash was generated towards, like, the visualizer, which I can kind of see. But the song I really enjoyed. I love how heavy it is. I love how dark it is. It's definitely reminiscent of some of those, that sort of style of Dream Theater, like Train of Thought or Systematic Chaos, or just focus on really emphasis on really heavy, dark riffs. I think that's super cool. I love LaBrie's voice on this one too. It makes sense that he would do a better job on this. I mean, always does a great job, but it makes sense he would do a good job on this song considering he wrote the lyrics for this one. So. This first verse, just having the cellos just sort of play that riff. Horns and violas playing that verse. I have the winds, the woodwinds doing all that, those chords, oboes and clarinets doing that. Build up into the chorus. There we have the broken, the Parasomnia theme again as the chorus. I think my favorite thing about this is doing the riff that's underneath this. That whole thing. Obviously, it's all cellos, with the cellos was being subdivided with a group of cellos plays the low notes, and then the rest play the. Also, there's a bit of help from the violas as well, playing that part as well. So. It's always good to subdivide instruments, having to make things a bit more. It's sort of doing translation to orchestral instruments can sometimes be a bit difficult. So not every solo is exactly the same as you hear on an album, because it's trying to adapt it to an orchestral setting where musicians can play this stuff, orchestral musicians can play some of these things, is a bit harder, and you do miss a bit of the original solo in there. But it is a bit of a compromise to make when you're writing for stuff like this. So I hope you guys understand that. Oh, piano flourish. Oh. Man, I have to go because it's getting close to 6 o'clock here. Not in a Christmas morning. So I hear 6 o'clock and I'm like, hope you go live again. Keep up the amazing work. It's good to see you, man. I know it's so good seeing you. You in all the comments. I love seeing you here. So yeah, I do plan to go live again after I do one of these. I'd love to do some more of this stuff, when I have time. But yeah, good to see you. So good to see you. And nice 6 o'clock reference. That was so good to see. I love that. Of course, you have the harps building up that bass line. Right here, I added a little something interesting. If you go back and hear it, so of course that part had the that little sample of the suffering inside. I'm shaking. I'm sweating at night. They have that sample in there, but I didn't add that sample in. So what I did was to give that section a bit more depth and add something that wasn't there in the original. If you go back, see if you can hear it. Right here. So while the strings, all the low strings doing that, the other strings, violas and violins, and muted horns are playing. So they're playing the sort of main riff idea for Midnight Messiah. So I added that in there. So I thought it'd be cool to add a bit of depth and contrast to that part when there's no spoken word sample. So that adding that little hint of Midnight Messiah in here would be a really cool way to tease that song later on and add something a bit more to this track. So I love doing stuff like that. In Bend the Clock, in the solo, you're going to hear a little hint of Night Terror in there as well, that I added. So, and another reference to another song later on. So, Frank16, do you have a Twitch account? I want to follow you there also. With Twitch, I don't really go live on Twitch. I have an account, but I mainly follow other streamers. So yes, but no at the same time. So, sorry. So, to answer your question, I do, but I don't really stream on Twitch. So, apologies for that. Get into the second verse here. Tambourine doing like the offbeats. Like I love adding like the muted horns and the string harmonics, adding that little eerie sort of ghostly quality to it. Coming back to those chords there at the beginning. Brass play those backing vocals. And the strings come back again for the chorus. This time an octave higher. There's a bit more power to it this time, to really bring out that Parasomnia melody. And then we transition into the solos right here. Well, that has a little biting strings. Added the strings playing with the back, with the wood of the bow. These solos were kind of hard to nail down because I really had to go back and just listen to them and hear what Brutus is playing. Sometimes go back in and just play the songs at half speed to just sort of go in and decipher each solo. You hear those little tom. You hear like the tom little rims doing a little while the piano's playing that part. That is a very interesting groovy section. There's a lot of groove in this song, which I really like, and we're gonna get some pretty groovy stuff right here very soon with this guitar solo. This part was loads of fun to do. Getting that swing tempo in here was so cool. There was a comment I got on the video who said this reminded them of the Cantina band from Star Wars, which I wasn't thinking about for inspiration, but I could definitely hear it. It's got that really swingy, especially Cantina Band 2, that one. But yeah, I think it's definitely got that inspiration. It definitely has a sort of vibe and feel that like I said, wasn't going for at the beginning, but I can definitely hear it. And then, of course, I had saxophones play that part because, of course, felt like it was meant to be. Tambourine and finger snaps. And just imagine the string players, the rest of the orchestra that's not playing, snapping their fingers to it. Get back into the riff, this nasty heavy riff. I love doing like the snare drum accents. That's fun to do. Build up into the final chorus here. This time I have the trumpets. I do this a lot where it's like I sort of ramp up the chorus and intensity as the song goes on. So it's not just static and kind of, I want to keep your interest. I want to keep you engaged. So amping up the chorus, adding more and more instruments, adding more depth, creating a larger scope of sound definitely keeps you more engaged, and it feels like you come to a more satisfying end to a piece. All these chords here. That's one thing I love about doing these orchestrations. I really get to dissect the music and just sort of go over it, hear all the chord changes, hear all the solos, just go over everything. It's so fun to do. The music is so fun to break down. So, yeah, that's Broken Man. That one was really fun to do because of just the dark and heavy nature of that one. Yeah, such an interesting song. I want to pose a question to all of you here. I really want to hear your thoughts on this. What are your guys' favorite Dream Theater John Petrucci solo? Because that is it'd be a very interesting thing to hear some thoughts on. Favorite John Petrucci solo? For me, it would probably have to be, it's not probably, it's definitely The Best of Times. That's probably one of the most beautiful guitar solos like ever written, performed, and recorded. That solo is just gorgeous. That majestic fade out at the end of that song, which is already a very emotional, powerful song in and of itself. Ending with that solo is just, it's perfect. It's just perfect. That solo is just gorgeous. Yeah, the Best of Time solo is definitely my favorite John Petrucci solo of all time. The Octavarium solo at the end, Razor's Edge, is also very, very good. Under a Glass Moon is iconic. Spirit Carries On. So many great Petrucci solos. He has a great use of doing just those crazy virtuosic stuff, but also at the same time adding a lot of the melody to it. My favorite Petrucci solo is the end of Key to the Imagination. Good call right there. And that's another thing I should bring up as well. If you guys want, I would also love to do orchestrations for Liquid Tension Experiment because I'm a huge fan of Liquid Tension Experiment. So I think it'd be really cool to do all those LTE songs. I love to do Passage of Time, Key to the Imagination, Paradigm Shift, Acid Rain, just all those really great songs. I love Liquid Tension Experiment. They're so cool. It's yes, please. Yeah. Now I would love to do stuff for LTE orchestrations. They're so fun. I love it. It's sort of like Dream Theater. Everyone just says it's like instrumental Dream Theater. It kind of is, but it's a more sort of unhinged, for lack of a better word, Dream Theater. Because since they're instrumental, they can sort of do whatever they want. They do all these crazy sections. You never know. Every time, you never know when Jordan Root is going to break out into a ragtime piano solo. Also, as a lover of classical music as well, I really loved their rendition of Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue on LTE3. I thought that was amazing. I really love their take on that piece. That is such an incredible piece of 20th century classical music. A perfect blend of that style of classical music and jazz in that time, then being done by Liquid Tension Experiment. I thought was so cool. I know they've done it live before then, but getting to hear an actual recorded version on LTE3 was super cool. So yeah, definitely really appreciate their version of Rhapsody in Blue. Emir Robles, I really hope I'm saying that right. Awesome, bro. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate the support. For now, let's get dead asleep here. And I don't know how long I'm going to keep the stream going. So if any of you have to like dip out, I can understand. I know I've been sort of rambling on here this whole time, but I really hope I can keep my commentary, keep some good commentary here in this. Like I said, this is my first time doing this, so kind of doing a little bit off the cuff. Coming back here to this familiar intro, very similar to Morpheus. And of course into the dark, the moody riff. This riff is so cool. I love like the dark tone to it. Also, the way it switches between 6/4 and 12/8. Portnoy just does those shifts in time signature seamlessly. Yeah, good comment here. Speaking of fusion and metal, Derek Sherinian is doing some great album as well. Yeah, he's been doing a lot of stuff after Dream Theater. I know he did Sons of Apollo with Portnoy. I know he's done a lot of other stuff. I know of his main project called, I think it's called Whom Gods Destroy. I think that's what it's called. Is also really, really cool. I definitely really love his stuff. I mean, I loved his time in Dream Theater. I thought it was really, really cool. He had some great stuff on Falling Into Infinity and Change of Seasons. I know it was kind of short-lived, but I love Derek Sherinian's contributions to Dream Theater. He's a great keyboard player, and I think he's done a lot of great stuff since then. So yeah. I couldn't exactly replicate the phaser effects here. So, before we continue, I brought up here in the description of this song that I was sort of inspired by late Romantic, early 20th century classical music. And that was the big inspiration for particularly this track, because it sort of had those leanings and that kind of vibe. And in particular, I was inspired by composers like Wagner, like Richard Strauss, Anton Bruckner, who's very underappreciated, but mostly probably my biggest musical, like in terms of all those composers, my favorite would have to be Gustav Mahler, who's definitely was a major composer in that late Romantic period. Wrote incredible music, 9 incredible symphonies, and other great choral works as well. Such a wonderful composer, particularly if you listen to his 2 symphonies I would recommend from Mahler. The Second Symphony, titled The Resurrection Symphony, and then the Ninth Symphony, which is one of the most devastatingly beautiful pieces of music ever written. Particularly the final movements. It's just this slow 25-minute, that is one of the most just heartfelt pieces of music ever written, is the 4th movement of Mahler's Ninth Symphony. I definitely recommend you all listen to it. It's such a powerful piece of music. That whole symphony is incredible, but particularly that last movement, that will just hit you right in the heart. So definitely those composers, Mahler and Rachmaninoff as well. There's a lot of Rachmaninoff stuff in there with all the piano parts. I've noticed that with Jordan Rudess, he has a lot of that Chopin list Rachmaninoff, even some Scriabin in there as well. Those sort of parts with his piano playing. Every time he incorporates the piano into the songs, I always have that kind of vibe from him, which I think is really, really cool. That's sort of what I did with this guitar solo. Of course, I'll hear this stuff again later on. Back into the riff again, which I love the way they transition between sections. You have that solo, you immediately go back to the dark and heavy with that riff. Also extra keyboard parts, the keys and the woodwinds doing that. Harp glissando into the verse. I love like the melancholy strings here. It really sets off the mood. It's because it's not dark, it's sad. It's a dark story, but it's also a very tragic one as well, with the story behind this song. So I want to give it that sort of dark feeling to it, that sort of very sad, melancholic feeling to it. And then, of course, with that chorus. That chorus is really fun to do. All those big chords. Very open and yeah, it has a huge romantic, neo-romantic cinematic quality to it. Really, really cool. Love all the big brass hits. Really brings home how sinister the riff can be. Like, pum, 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 pum. I did this in Broken Man as well, but add a little bit that riff, that dun 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 dun, that riff to add a bit more of an edge to the strings. The cellos are subdivided. They're playing normally with a bow, like bum 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 bum, but then it's subdivided with cellos playing col legno with the back of the bow, adding that sort of bone type sound, that clicking sound. That a lot of classical composers use that to simulate the sounds of rattling bones. But I thought it'd be really cool to add a little that sort of type of sound in there as well, to add a bit more edge, a bit more bite to the riff, so it's a bit more of that dun 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 dun. So it has a bit of that. So just to add a bit more of that sort of drive and urgency to this part, with that, when the actual, murder in the song happens, it just has a sort of shock value. It's like, oh goodness, he did that in his sleep. Like, oh no. The trumpets and trombones playing this part. Strings coming in octave higher now. The melody is so soaring. I just love that so much. I love this part here. These huge chords. way it switches from minor to major in there. Then the solo, guitar solo. This is where I deviated from like that classical influence. I want to go jazz, very lounge jazz, a bit more of a smooth direction here. So yeah, I had a little shaker and the snare drum rim to add a bit of that little urgency thing there. Keep the song a bit, keep it a bit more, give the pieces a little bit more of a, some variety, some color, essentially. I love that little switch up. It's very Beyond This Life, that sort of progression. They do a lot here. I love all the callbacks to Beyond This Life. I always felt that the song sounded a bit like Beyond This Life mixed with Sacrifice Sons. It's another really great song. I'm going to do that one at some point. I believe the song was based on a real story of a guy that sleepwalked and super sad and so crazy. Yeah, no, that was. I remember I was hearing this song and I was listening to the lyrics. I'm like, this is dark for Dream Theater like standards. This is a dark story. And then I saw it was based off of like a true story. Like, oh, that's sleepwalking is could be a very dangerous situation. Because literally I thought he was dreaming that someone broke into his house and that he was defending himself. But then he woke up and saw what happened. It was like, oh no. Like, it's scary. Like, if you think about it, like these various parasomnias, these sleep disorders are scary to think about. Sleepwalking, night terrors, sleep paralysis. Imagine if you had actually encountered a question I want to ask you. You don't have to divulge anything. I was wondering, have any of you ever experienced anything strange? Like, is there anything there that's like, is there anything? I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but is there anything interesting, like sleep stuff? Like, I've always wanted to know. It's because it's so fascinating to think about. Imagine seeing like you're sleeping and then you just see something like thinking about seeing a sleep paralysis demon would be terrifying. Like hearing about Shadow Man was just wow, insane to think about. Oh dang, really? That is, ooh. Yeah, I've never really experienced anything like that. I mean, I've had a few like nightmares in my life, but nothing like that bad. But almost exactly like the Shadow Man, except no hat or watch in the chain. But did he stand in the corner in darkness as you go insane? That is pretty scary though. Insane to think about. With this solo here, I kept it a bit. I kept the main basis of the keyboard solo. I always have those little brass, those little bits here. Oh, it's in your doorway. Oh, dang! Wow. That Beyond This Life chord progression. And again here, I love the slow down. These big notes. Bum, bum, bum. Into that guitar solo melody again. It came right up in your face. Oh boy, that must have been shocking. Yeah, that definitely does not sound fun. I love having like the harp glissanos here. It adds a lot of texture and color. And final chorus, do the same trick again. Brass. love these. I love these. Again, the chords, the way they phrase it, the voicings are just so good. These hits, orchestral hits, so fun to do. Bringing it back to Parasomnia theme, I sort of lightened up the orchestration, made it because it's very classical sounding, very early romantic, late classical, early romantic style. So I added the orchestration very light. So just woodwinds, horns, and strings. So none of the extra big percussion or stuff like that. Push back into the main big riff here. Boom. And of course, we get the one last hit of the Parasomnia theme here at the end. Kyle Davis says, "What's up, man? Love your work lately. Good to see you. Definitely good to see you here. Glad you could make it. So good. Thank you so much, Big Fishes. Thank you so much, man. I gotta say, I really do appreciate all your stuff. Super cool." And then sort of fade down. Of course, you would hear like the door closing. All right. We've made it halfway through the album. Before we continue, there is something I actually really did want to bring up. I didn't bring this up before. So for me, let me just put this in a solo mode for a second if I can. There we go. One thing I want to bring up, there have been a number of people asking me about ways on how I can put this out, how people can listen to this on stuff on Spotify or on any platform, or finding ways to listen to this stuff and possibly, buy it and things. Now, I didn't intend for this to be as successful as it was. So that wasn't really my intention to do that kind of stuff. I did all this, the success, I guess you could say, that I've been getting has been incredibly unprecedented for me. So it wasn't really anything I was thinking about it. But I was thinking about it, but at the same time, it's not really it's not my music, it's my arrangements. So I don't know how I can make that really work. If anyone else can listen to it and get download stuff. It's not something I really thought about. So I wanted to clear that up. It's not something I've been thinking about at the moment, but I know that people have been asking for it. So I will definitely I will keep all those comments into consideration. I read every comment that I get, and I'm always so thankful for all the support that I get. With all that stuff, that's not really something that I plan now, but I could be looking into for that. I don't know how that could work. Like I said, I'm new to all this. I'm very inexperienced. And so as of right now, it's not really an option, and I apologize. But I do thank you for asking, because it really does mean a lot that you want to support me in any way like that. So, but I thought I would really clear that up. I know there are people who keep asking me about this, so I just thought I would say it up front on this stream. So I thank you guys for listening and for understanding kind of like my situation, basically. Let me put this back up. Okay. Let me pull up the... Let me do that. So there we go. Now it gets back into the orchestration. All right, let's get into Midnight Messiah. This is a fun one. This is probably my favorite out of all the ones I've orchestrated. I think because for me, it was the most difficult for me to orchestrate, because getting that metal It's this song is way more heavy metal than it is prog. So getting that sort of metal vibe out of an orchestra is a bit more difficult than getting prog out of an orchestra. So this is a bit of a challenge, but I thought I was able to make it work. So the strings, low strings playing that bass line, that plucked bass line, pianos and harps and celeste doing that little arpeggio riff. I love adding like the sliding strings here to represent like the choir, those choral parts. I didn't add any choir parts. That wasn't a thing I wanted to add. But maybe in the future I'll add some chorus parts in there. Big Vicious says, in my opinion, your Midnight Messiah is better than the original because of how you switch things up and emphasizing elements. That is that's such a high compliment. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. I'm glad you think that way. Of course, a huge build up into this nasty riff. Ultimate stank face. Such a fun riff. This song must be really fun to hear live. I mean, I'm going to experience it next month, but this song must be awesome to hear live. This sounds like one that gets like the whole audience going. And for good reason. Oh, is that big live? Oh, I believe it. I definitely believe it. Heavy strings and horns playing that main melody, just full on. I just imagine all the strings doing just huge down bows. All the low strings just play out that riff. Woodwind's playing all those little pads, those little synth pads. Had a little piano in there. His melodies, uncanny, strange, deja vu. All those little callbacks that Portnoy added in there, and the lyrics that were really fun. Maybe a bit heavy-handed, but still pretty fun. The chorus was the hardest part. How do I make that very metal-sounding chorus to fit? So that was a bit of a challenge to do, but I felt like I found a good balance on how to make that work. Top Chef says, Luke, I'm sorry I wasn't able to watch most of your stream because of other personal IRL things to do. Oh, it's all fine, man. All good. You can definitely catch up. You can definitely watch the replay after this is all uploaded. Yeah, for sure. But thanks for at least taking the time to check me out. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. And it's good to see you here. He's a friend of mine. Good friend of mine. So yeah, making that chorus really work was definitely it was a bit tricky, but I feel like I got it at a good point. Back to the riff. Sorry if I'm not talking about it as much. I really wanted to go over this stuff, and if I have to pause at certain points, just let me know. And then of course for the second verse, I decided to go a bit lighter in color to add a bit of contrast. A bit more of like a spooky type of vibe to it. And Halloween is next month, so. Strings, strings for the melody. Woodwinds and piano do that little key part, the little part right there. I think it's really fun. I love adding like little extra colors and textures. You need to add a lot of little things to spice it up. It's like when you're painting, you add little colors, or it's like when you're cooking, you probably add little spices and stuff that adds extra flavor to it. That's kind of what I see orchestration as. It's kind of like either painting or like cooking, in a sense. There's a way it can make things work. Exactly. Good. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about orchestration. You have a bunch of colors on your color palette, and you want to see which combinations will look the best on your canvas. That's kind of how I feel about it. Of course, this bridge. I've always felt this bridge had an astonishing vibe. I don't know why. It had that sort of cinematic, grand feel that you would hear in something like The Astonishing, which is a bit odd. Which I really like, though, but it was a bit interesting. I was like, it reminds me of The Astonishing a lot. Yeah, I love that. That calling back to my home callback was awesome. I like that. Taking back to the dream. It's like Portnoy wants to be back in Dream Theater, and this is a song that shows that. I'm glad he's. No, I miss Mangini so much. He was awesome, but I am glad Portnoy is back. I can't wait to see him. Of course, the guitar solo here. Love having that there. This part right here was fun. The tapping unison dual, like the dual tapping keyboard and guitar part right here. This right here was inspired by Zelda. I was inspired by, I don't know why, the Dark World dungeon from A Link to the Past was sort of my inspiration behind that track, behind this particular part. And like sort of gave me that feel. I'm a huge Legend of Zelda fan, and I love its music. And so that's a big inspiration on my my own music as a composer, as an orchestrator. Final bridge here, final pre-chorus, big sound, final chorus. Got that big, the huge brass sound, trumpets finally being added. I also love adding those little like woodwinds, like the little flourishes, little bits there to add a bit of dimension to it because it wasn't really there. I needed something to really add to it. So I'm like, I'll just add those little woodwind, like those little flute and piccolo parts to add a bit more. Like, ooh, that's pretty cool. It's like a kind of like a Jordan Rudess type of bit that he would add in there. So yeah. Yeah, that song was definitely super fun to do. It was a bit tricky, but I think I got it to a place I was very proud of. Yeah, that was really fun to do. It's going to give me a lot of confidence to do As I Am, which I know is a very popular song. And of course, we move into Are We Dreaming, which obviously was the easiest one to do considering it's like 1.5 minute long, minute and a half long. I didn't do the organ like in the original, that sort of organ patch. I just used like solo cellos. Big Vicious says, Luke, are you able to show the different parts / notes? Not doing it for this stream. Maybe I could do another stream where I show that, because it'll be probably better. Maybe if I do like separate videos, doing like sort of a deep dive. This is more of just like a casual sort of video here. This was a bit of a new idea for me. And said, I've never done this before, so I wanted to do something a bit more. I wanted to be comfortable with the idea first before I do something, before I really commit to it. Because like I said, this is my first ever stream on YouTube, so I wanted to be comfortable with doing it first, rather than just going right into the deep end and just doing something I feel like it was a bit crazy. So maybe in the future I could show that. But as of right now, it's just wanted to show the audio. But yeah, Are We Dreaming was fun to do. just had 4 cello parts. I didn't record that. That's just the cello patch on MuseScore. A good solo cello sound, but I didn't really record it. Maybe in the future I'll record my cello parts. It'd be cool to hear. All right, it's time for Bend the Clock. This, of course, was a song that everyone was looking forward to, because I know a lot of people love this song, myself included. This song is incredible. One of their best ballads and songs, I mean, ever, I think. It's beautiful. I didn't start immediately with the riff. I just started with the chords from the riff. I broke down what the chords were in the riff, what the outline of the notes. I just had the strings sort of ease into it. English horn, playing the melody. I love using the English horn. One of my favorite instruments ever to use. Incredible, beautiful sound. I love the sort of tone color it has. It's basically sort of like a lower sounding oboe, but it has a bit of more of a bassoon sound to it too, which I really like. And then a solo horn coming in. It's a beautiful sound. Yeah, this one was definitely very, very fun to do. Very, very great to do. It was such... like I said, I love the song. And so I wanted to do it justice. I wanted to take my own spin on it, not just do what the original did. So I decided to go for its more cinematic quality. I was very much inspired by not just Legend of Zelda, because Legend of Zelda is a big inspiration on this, but also Studio Ghibli. I love Studio Ghibli's music. I love Joe Hisaishi's music. He's such an incredible composer. And I was inspired a lot by his orchestral textures. His use of piano and strings. Like these light, flowing textures. Solo oboe, I love it. I love writing for woodwinds. My favorite thing to write for, other than strings. I also love this little bassoon counter melody I added here. Nice adding a little bit of counterpoints to make your to keep your arrangements engaging. Viola here. Kind of wish I had better string samples for the other instruments, but I had to make do with what I had. I feel like it sounds good enough. So. Build it up for that chorus, a beautiful chorus. Question for all of you in the chat: do you have a favorite Dream Theater ballad? Because I know the Dream Theater have done a lot of different ballads over the years, and there are a lot of great ones. Do you have any ones that stand out to you? Do you have any favorites? For me, I think my favorite ballad will always be "The Spirit Carries On." I love that song so much. I also really love "This Is the Life." It's another really beautiful song. The Fluffy Nerd. Hi, Luke. I just wanted to hop in and say hi real quick. I'm in Disneyland with my family, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a good time. I really hope you're having a great time. Good to see you there. Obviously, violin playing that solo. Horns coming to build up that section. I'm definitely really inspired by doing those huge cinematic build-ups, those crescendos. It really feels like you're soaring through the air, that type of feeling. Strings an octave higher again. I use that trick a lot. I don't know if that's something I do too much, but I feel like it works. course, the epic guitar solo that closes out the song, in this case, a violin solo. With this section, I did add a bit of choir here. I did add a little bit of a choir, like a soft choir in the background. Did so good with the brass. Thank you, Be Gracious. The choir in the background was very John Williams inspired, particularly Revenge of the Sith. I was a bit inspired by the backing, the orchestra backing, the violin. I was inspired a bit by the track Anakin's Betrayal from the Revenge of the Sith soundtrack that I love. That score for Revenge of the Sith is incredible. And that track in particular really sells the tragedy of Order 66 and of Anakin's downfall. That wasn't the inspiration I was going for this, but I thought it was a big inspiration for that backing. Also, I was also inspired by the track Final Ascent from No Time to Die by Hans Zimmer. That's a track that plays at the end of the film. I'm not going to spoil the ending of No Time to Die if you haven't seen it, but that track is very powerful. One of my favorite Hans Zimmer tracks. This huge build-up, emotional climax, and that was a big inspiration for the ending here. Now, I don't know what the ending solo sounds like live, so when I see it, producer's probably going to play something completely different to what I did here, so that's interesting. But I knew I couldn't end I couldn't end with the fade out like on the album. So build up here. Frank 16 says, I like the answer lies with it. Great pick. That is a great, I love that song. No one really talks about it as much. That was a great pick, man. Really love that one. Yeah. So yeah, just letting the solo just build in intensity. Hearing just more stuff being added. And right here is where we get the Night Terror callback. Right here. You hear that little bit in there. I thought it would be really cool to add a bit of that Night Terror chorus at the end. Nice way to tie up the album together. And of course, it just ends like that. No real ending. I thought it would be really cool to just end that way. I thought it would be a bit interesting to do that. Like I said, I don't know how they're going to end it live. I haven't seen any footage. I'm waiting to see them live to hear it. But yeah. So yeah, now we have one last track, the Shadow Man Incident. Before we do the Shadow Man Incident, I'm going to be right back for 1 second. I've been talking up a storm here, and I desperately need some water. So I will be right back. Bear with me. Just give me 1 second. I should be back very, very soon, and we will get through the Shadow Man Incident. All right, I'm back. So I knew we were going to go over the Shadow Man Incident, But I was thinking it's 9 for me. It's not 9 p.m. for me. I don't know how late it is for all of you here. I want to apologize if I'm keeping you up. So I had a thought about something. I was wondering, the shamanism is a track that I really, really want to go over in depth. So I thought that maybe I was thinking if we could, if any of you are okay with it, I would maybe should we could stop it here and possibly do another stream in the future where I go over the Shadowman incident. Is that anything you guys? I mean, I could go on if you guys want me to, but I'm just wondering for all of you guys, all of you out there who probably are in different time zones. I was just wondering if any of you think it would be better for us to do a more lengthy breakdown at another time. Great idea. Okay, if Big Vicious agrees with me, I'm just want to see if there's any more people who are willing who like that idea. If so, then we're gonna cut the stream here because we've been going on for a while. I didn't intend the stream to go on for so long, but I thought that it would be cool to go over my process for now. And so with that, I wanted to really answer a lot of questions and talk with all you and engage with all of you because, engaging with an audience is something I really, really love. I love being able to just, I love being able to chat with people about all this stuff. My love of the band, my process in orchestration, it's a big deal for me. It's it's my big passion. Music is my passion in life, and I really want it to be, I want people to enjoy. I really want to bring people just joy with my music. I really want people to really feel something from these arrangements and from a bunch of original music that I want to write. I'm still working on tons of original music. I know I haven't really done much original music, but I am planning on more of it. Like, for instance, with the another thing I wrote was that Tales theme for a project I'm working on called Sonic and Tails Brotherhood. I haven't been working on that as much because of these, but I know I'm going to be able to work on that project and actually release it on YouTube. And music will also be a big part of it as well. So I really cannot wait to work on the music for that stuff. Because as someone who loves Sonic and who loves music, being able to do something like that would be super cool. Being to put out a really cool story and put out a really, really cool music for that would be very fun. Orchestral style music. It's going to be so fun. So I think with that, this ends a really good night here on the stream. So for me, from me to all of you, thank you all so much for coming. I really, really appreciate all of you taking the time, no pun intended, take the time to come here and just hear me talk about Dream Theater for 2 hours to go over my process on my orchestration. It has been tons of fun being here with all of you. To be honest, I was a bit worried that none of you would show up. There was a bit of worry, but I thought I'm so glad all of you came. I'm so glad all of you came here to support me. I want you guys. I hope you guys keep up the support, keep the videos going. I'm incredibly grateful and I'm incredibly blessed to have such great fans here of this channel. Maybe I should turn this off. There we go. Just put on me. But yeah, thank you all so much just for supporting me, supporting my journey on YouTube and on, as a arranger, as a composer, because like I said, music is my big passion, and I love sharing music with people, and getting to see the response that these Dream Theater orchestrations I've been getting it's incredible to see. I cannot thank you enough for everything that all the support you've given me. I mean, I can't believe that I already hit 1,000 subscribers. That is insane. 1,000 subscribers in a span of not even 2 months. That is incredible. Thank you all so much for everything. I don't want to keep going on and making this sound a bit too sappy, but once again, I cannot thank you enough for everything, all the support you guys give me. Thanks for bearing with me on my very first stream on the channel. I'm sorry if it wasn't the greatest thing ever, but we all got to start somewhere. So I hope these streams will definitely keep carrying on in the future, and I could definitely learn and improve from this. But thank you all for sticking with me. Thank you all for coming, for enjoying this sort of analysis on the Parasomnia orchestration. So can't wait to see you guys again next stream. Whenever I do it, we'll go over the Shadow Man incident. There's a big piece that I really want to go over. Maybe one of these days we can go over In the Presence of Enemies as well. I know it's a big one, the fan favorite. I think you guys would also love to see that being broken down. So, yeah, once again, thank you all for coming. I look forward to doing more of these. Once again, please continue to support the channel. And one thing else I want to bring up before I go, I'm gonna post the link to my to the Luke the Composer Discord server, because I have a Discord server. We have been starting off this community, this really cool community on this server. We've been having a ton of fun, and I really want to have more people to join this, because I thought it'd be really cool to have a full Discord community on the channel. I thought it'd be so fun to do this. I gotta read this comment here. Hey man, just tuned in. I can't stop listening to your symphonic version of In the Presence of Enemies. You're excellent at what you do. Congrats on 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, Zachary. I really appreciate everything. I really appreciate that. It is so cool. So yeah, I'm sorry you came in as I was right as I was ending the stream. Apologies for that. But no, yeah, thank you so much, man. So before I leave, I'm gonna put the Discord server link in the chat, so you all can find it. Let me just get it here. Let me just get the link to the server, and I should give you guys that. All right, here's the link to the server so you all can join. I don't know if that'll work for you there, but I really hope you can join. Hope you can join. It's gonna be a really fun. Really want to build up a fun community to talk about music. So yeah, thank you guys for coming so much. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. I had such a great time doing this, and I hope to see you guys again when I do another one of these streams, and look forward to stuff coming up. I'm currently working on stuff for a Change of Seasons, the Change of Seasons orchestration. Like I said, I don't know when I'm going to get that up, but I'm glad you guys are encouraging me to really take my time with this, as you guys deserve the best. So take care, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate all the support, and I hope to see you all again. I hope to see all of you join the server. If any of you haven't, please join the Discord server. I hope to see you all there. So good night, everybody. Have an awesome night, and wish you guys all the best. And thanks for 1,000 subscribers once again. Take care, everybody. Carpe diem. Seize the day.